Hello, everyone. Happy Monday evening to you for those that are stateside. This is Melissa Brown, your Soul Love Coach, and this is day one of your emotional detox. I have been waiting on this day so that we could be free. Just to give you a little bit of the backdrop of where this came from, since the beginning of 2019, God has really been just dealing with me personally around what is it that you still need to deal with. Hey, Regina, how are you? And so 2019 is the year that you get to kind of do a deep dive within yourself and really let all of it go, because there is some residue that has been building up. There are there's unfinished business that you need to tend to in your life. And even though this is spring, thank God, it's been, an interesting winter from everything that I've heard with the weather, but also it's been an interesting winter with all of the challenges that people have been dealing with. And I think we ended 2018 with so much hope and so much promise of 2019 is going to be the year and so much is going to open up for me. And a lot of people that I know hit a brick wall. And so part of what God has revealed to me about the brick wall is you can only go as far outside in your life. God will only allow you to accelerate and to advance as far as you have advanced inwardly. And so there is unfinished business within us that you get to tend to. God is no longer going to let you be the pretty package, to have the best resume, to look good on the outside, look like you have the perfect life on the outside, but on the inside, it's a whole nother story. So this is about complete and total alignment. It is about cleaning up certain areas of your life that really need to be cleaned up. And so this 5-day emotional detox, I'm going to be making reference to a couple of books that you may want to get in your library. The major one that I am going to be talking about is by Marianne Williamson, who, many of you may be familiar with her, but if not, the quote of our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, but our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. That's Marianne Williamson. A lot of people think that it is Nelson Mandela, but Nelson Mandela is quoting her. And so she wrote a book called A Course in Weight Loss, and she really takes the principles from another book that she did not write called A Course in Miracles. It's a very thick, dense book. And she takes the principles from that Course in Miracles and kind of applies it to the love that is missing when it comes to us and our bodies, because pain has to have somewhere to go. It really does. And for most of us, where we store our pain, especially those of us who love big and love hard and we're always giving, we are the ones, we take the brunt of the weight, we take the brunt of the burden on ourselves, not just mentally, but whatever it is you're taking in mentally begins to also manifest physically. We are body, mind, and spirit. So some of the times we forget that. You forget that, it is all connected. Hey, Alethea, good to see you here. And so, I don't want you to separate out, because this is what a lot of us do. We separate out what's going on in our bodies from what's going on in our heart and what's going on in our mind. But it really is all connected. So if you are a person, sort of like me, who's been trying to lose the extra weight, or, it seems like the older you get, the harder it is to relate, to release. You're still trying to lose baby weight and your baby is like 10. Whatever your story is, you tried every single fad diet, or, other people can drop 20 pounds in a month. Sometimes my husband makes me crazy with that, because he can just drop 10 pounds just like that. And we can fast, we can do green smoothies. We could do everything, and the scale just like does that. And so one of the things, again, like what God revealed to me is there is an emotional connection specifically for women. It's not just your hormones, but there is an emotional connection to the excess that we carry. The excess on our hips in particular, your thighs. There's another book that I'll probably reference later on in the week that talks about there is a corresponding emotional wound to any pain that you have in your body. There really is. So for those that have done any kind of work around this, like I said, the mind-body connection, there is some serious connections that we have to pay attention to. So it's not just about let me hurry up and, get my summer body together, but it's also let me get my heart together. Let me get my spirit together. Let me make sure that I'm not carrying anything that will get in the way of what it is I'm called to do and who it is God is calling me to be. The other book that I'm going to probably make reference to, and this is a really, really good book. I've had this one for a while. It's called Women, Food, and God. Let's see if you can. Janine Roth is the author of that. Another great book that really talks about the whole body, mind, spirit connection. And again, our bodies keep the score. Our bodies tend to be the biggest victim of what we put ourselves through. And the premise of really both of those books is what we are really needing is more of God, more of love, more of joy. And so my prayer is that by the time we get to Friday, you will have figured out, number one, you will have released a lot. And I guarantee you, because I've dropped about 10 pounds just doing a lot of this work over the last few months, couple of months, just being here, where God was like, nope, you're going to open up your journal. You're going to start writing down some things. And they are often things that you think you have dealt with. Can I say that again? You think you've dealt with it already. You think you've already processed it. You may have worked with a counselor. You may have went to church and cried about it at the altar, but there is still some residue that we have to deal with. So with that, and I hope that you got the life work for those that actually signed up. And the reason why I wanted you to sign up is so that you could get that worksheet, because you will have work to do. This here is just me sharing some of the principles, but you will have to go and do your own work. So the premise is that before it was a weight on your body, it was a weight on your mind. And I want you to think about what are the actual weights that are on your mind. Hey, Eleanor, what is it that wakes you up at 2 a.m, at 3 a.m? What is it that is occupying your time mentally when you're supposed to be working on one thing? Your brain is working on you with another thing. What is the thing that has your attention? Because whatever that thing is, that is the thing that is taking up space, not just in your mental space, but it is also taking up space in your body, in your temple. Remember what I said, pain has to have somewhere to go. And you cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. And we are really, really good at saying, I have moved on. That happened a long time ago. I'm just going to forget about it. Hey, Valeria. Hey, Vanetta. I'm going to forget about it and I'm just going to move on. But it doesn't move on. Where it moves to is within you. It goes within your body at a cellular level. And for many of us, we have pent up frustration, pent up anger, lots of disappointment, lots of heartache, lots of shame, lots of guilt, all kinds of stuff, self-sabotage, things that we, know we should have done, but we didn't do because we were too afraid to do it. all kinds of things that have to have somewhere to go. And it doesn't just go into the atmosphere because we put a block in our minds and say, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. And just because you act like something isn't there doesn't make it not there. That's what I say to people all the time, especially I love doing couples work where people are in denial. So you can deny something all you want, but just because you deny that it's there doesn't make it not there. And so again, you cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. Hey, Joyce. So you have to identify. So I'm hoping you got that life work that I sent out to you via email. And what I want you to do is to actually get specific. Don't just talk about, I'm frustrated, or what's weighing on my mind is my finances. That's too general. I want you to really go into detail about what are the thoughts, because again, most of the time that may be the subject, but we are also playing a movie, painting a picture, writing a whole script. Most of the time, worst case scenario, or you are just rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing the past. Remember, one of the things I say all the time is if you are not focused and fixed on your future, that means you got to have a vision. That means you have an image in your mind of what you're working towards, who you want to be, what you want life to look like. If that is not the dominant thought in your mind, then you are probably rehearsing your past. Those are the two things that the brain knows how to do. The brain is either focused on a future goal or it is rehearsing what it did yesterday. And if you are rehearsing what you did yesterday, then you will replay what you did yesterday. And many of us, we are rehearsing and revisiting our pain. We are rehearsing and revisiting old conversations that we had last year. We are revisiting old things. And again, you are making it more and more a part of your body at a cellular level. So again, you don't have to speak it out loud. There's a whole mantra. There's a whole conversation that is going on within you that keeps dead things alive. And so this is the year that we are going to kill it. This is the year you're going to identify it. You're going to dig it up so it can stop digging you up. You are going to be able to identify what is the thing that really has you. What is the thing that has you held hostage? What are you really thinking about? Because as a woman thinks, so is she. So you cannot continue to think about what used to be and what used to happen or what did not happen without setting yourself up for it to play out again. And we're not doing that. We're creating a new future. We don't want that in your body. These are memories that are at a cellular level. So sometimes, we talk about these soul ties, and we talk about soul ties most of the time in romantic relationships or someone you may have been with in an intimate way and it has you all bound up. We have some soul ties with past situations. That thing has you shook. It really does. And if you want to know, what is it that you're thinking about, just move through your day. I invite you, move through your day when you are not busy being busy. And your mind is settled, because the truth be told, that's why many of us are so busy, because we don't want to really sit with ourselves. We don't want to sit with our thoughts. We are constantly stimulating and wanting something to drown out our own voice, because what is the voice actually saying to you? What is the conversation in your head? So I want you to get specific about what is going on in your mental space. What are you really thinking about? And only you know it. So you don't do yourself any justice by not sharing it, because you're the only one who's going to see it. So this is not the time for you to kind of do your, I'll just be general, because your thoughts are not general. Your thoughts are specific. So get specific. So the other piece of it, and this is on the life work as well, is, and this is essential because part of what keeps it alive at a cellular level is the way the memory makes you feel. When I teach visualization, part of the principle of manifestation is a multi-sensory feeling, like you see it, you smell it, you make it alive in you. And if you can make it alive in you, then it can come alive actually in your life. And many of us are doing that, not in a positive way. We are doing it from a negative way. So I want you to think about, if you can answer question number 1 of what is the thing that you are thinking about. And I'll just use a common one that I know many of you have talked to me about: finances. That if you are thinking about, how am I going to make it? If you are thinking about, will I have enough? If you are, hey, Alicia, if you are thinking about, this whole principle of, am I going to be, I'll just say it the way my husband says it. Am I going to be ass out? Am I going to have enough to take care of myself? Am I going to, if you are in that mode of, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And that anxiety starts pumping. And I just know I've been there. I'm an entrepreneur. So there's been plenty of times where I didn't have it. And so if early on in my entrepreneurship, when I felt like it was all on me, all on me. Look at what that does to the body. It's all on me. The anxiety starts pumping. My heart starts pumping. And if I'm not careful, I then begin to start thinking of myself as something must be wrong with me. How come other people can do it, but I can't do it? How come, it seems like it works for this person, but it doesn't work for the next person? What is it that I'm doing that has me in this predicament? And you will begin to judge yourself negatively, which then, again, that is what gets at you at a cellular level. This feeling of inadequacy, the feeling of somehow I am not enough, the feeling of somehow it's all on me and I'm out of answers. I don't know what to do. And the weight of all of that begins to literally weigh you down, not just in your mind and in your spirit, but it has to have somewhere to go energetically, and it might as well go on you. Do you all hear what I'm saying? Can anybody relate to what I'm saying? Have you ever been in that sort of tight situation financially? And like I said, I'm using that one because it's such a common one where people are worried about their money. They're worried about how they're going to make it. They're worried about whether or not they're going to be taken care of. And you just put it all on you. And literally it goes all on you. You understand what I'm saying? So I want you to think about how your thoughts are affecting your self-worth. Because it's kind of like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? You'll be wondering why you're not confident. Well, the reason why you're not confident is because of what the conversation is internally about how you're inadequate, about how you're not doing it, about how come everybody else is doing it but you. All of that. And so again, it becomes a very vicious cycle where you don't feel good about yourself. And if you're not feeling good about yourself, then you won't treat yourself well. You will not love yourself well, and you will not expect anything to be well. And guess what? If that's what you expect, that's exactly what you will get. I want you guys to hear that, but you have the power to change it. If anybody can change it, it's you. One of my mastermind partners said this the other day, and I said, "Oh, that's genius. That's good." She said, "Your best asset in business is you." Your best asset in business isn't money. It isn't your network. It isn't, how good your product is or how great you can speak or how great your web page is. Your best asset is you. That's it. That's it. And so If the enemy can capture your mind, if the enemy can hold you hostage, that you begin to forget who you are, then guess what? You will not act like who you are. You will act disempowered. You will act like you are not enough. You will act like a burden, and you will feel like a burden, and your body will bear the weight. So today, again, is all about release. So one of the other questions is, and it seems obvious. It seems so obvious. The third question on the life work is, are you ready to release the pain? Are you actually ready to release? And like I said, it seems obvious because who wouldn't be ready? Who signs up to be in pain? But, and I'm not trying to preach to you, but the scripture that comes to mind is, do you want to be made whole? The brother couldn't even answer the question. All Jesus said is, do you want to be made whole? And he started talking about, I don't have nobody to put me in the pool. That's not the question. The question is, are you ready to be free? Are you ready to be released? Are you tired yet? Are you tired of holding on to things that you were never supposed to pick up? Are you tired of carrying the knapsack, the backpack with bricks and bricks and bricks, full of guilt, full of judgment, full of scarcity, full of fear, full of whatever it is that you have been carrying around? Are you tired yet? It seems like an obvious question, but I have to ask it because some of us, we are addicted to the pain. We are addicted to the pain because we are used to the pain. And the way the human psyche works is we go to what is familiar. So even though joy is available, love is available, peace is available, you can be free whenever you want to be free. The key is in you. But because we are so comfortable with the pain, it's the devil I know versus the devil I don't. Are you actually ready to be free? You must ask yourself that, and only you can answer it. Part of the way you answer it is to look at your patterns. Look at your patterns. Do you say, I'm ready to release, and then pick it back up? Do you ask to be delivered, to be free, and then tomorrow start looking for a problem because you need something to go worry about? I'm just keeping it real. I'm just telling you a little bit about what I have done in my life, where you're so used to having something to worry about, you go find stuff to worry about. So as soon as God solves a problem, you go pick up another problem because there is an addiction about pain and suffering. There is an addiction that you cannot stand to let yourself be blessed. Can you stand to let yourself be happy for once? Can you let yourself actually be in abundance? Can you let yourself receive everything that you are supposed to receive, everything you are ordained to receive, everything you have been giving out and pouring out for your whole life? Now it is your turn. Now it is your time. And every single time you step up to the line, you put the blocks on. Are you ready for it? You have to answer that question. So if you are ready for it, this is the work. This is the emotional work that you must do. And I am telling you, it's some work, because when I worked through it, I was crying the ugly cry. So, don't do it when other people are around, or people going to be like, what in the world is wrong with her? This is for you to get in your closet and for you to have some serious conversation with yourself about the characteristics that I listed, talking about what am I really afraid of? And these are things that most of the time we do not talk about with anybody else, even if you have a bestie. Even if your closest girlfriends, you may not even talk about this with your spouse. These are things that stay locked up. So again, if it is locked up inside of you, it is being stored in you at a cellular level, and it is blocking you and keeping you kind of enclosed and not allowing you to release, because these things are there. So there is a difference between seeing an issue and surrendering it. I wrote that on my Facebook post probably a couple weeks back, because everybody on here is pretty insightful. And I say this all the time, and I don't say this to blow you up. I only work with smart, intelligent women, but sometimes we're too smart. Sometimes we're too intelligent. Sometimes we're too cognitive. So just because you can psychoanalyze yourself and you can know your issue, that is not the same as surrendering the issue. And I want to invite you to lay down the keys, because you are still on some level trying to control it. You are still trying to fix it, and it is not yours to fix. This is bigger than you. If you could have fixed it, you would have fixed it a long time ago. This would not be the thing that you've been dealing with and struggling with for the last 10 years, 15 years, some of us longer than that. What is it that we need to literally lay it down on the altar? Marianne Williamson used the language of, when you lay it on the altar, it will be altered. I love that. So if you are ready for it to be changed, if you are ready for the miracle, then you must lay it down. You must lift up your hands and say, I am no longer in control, recognizing I was never in control in the first place. So what is the thing? And this, I got me a specific journal. I'm just telling you, this is what I would strongly recommend. It's not one of my prettiest, but it is a journal that is dedicated for release. Okay? Release. And of course I'm not going to read it to you, but yeah, I got pages and pages about stuff I was angry about. Stuff that I was angry about with myself mostly, because let me tell you the thing about high achieving women. High achieving women, for the most part, we are overly responsible. So guess what? If something is not working right, we tend to blame ourselves. So I got stuff in here that I needed to release because I was mad at myself about relationship decisions that I made in my 20s. I was mad about myself because I didn't vet this person. I was mad about this because I didn't handle something right. Stuff that happened like over 10 years ago, but I was still carrying the anger. So again, if you are unaware of what you are still walking around with, what is on you at a cellular level, just check out what buttons are easily pushed. Check out what buttons are easily pushed. I know for me, all it takes is for my husband to make a decision without including me, and whoop, Melissa can go from 0 to 100, just like that. Is it really about him not including me? But no, it is a deeper cellular wound, because I know what it's like to be voiceless. I know what it's like for people to try to make decisions for me. I know what it's like for people to try to control me. I know what that's like, where people want me to be who they want me to be. So when he does that, it does this. You hear what I'm saying? When he does that, it pushes this button. And so if you are getting your buttons pushed, know what the button is. As I've said before, you can only push a button that you have. So if you're one of those people who are walking around saying they just push my buttons at work, well, what is the button? Maybe we should deal with the button instead of trying to control the person who's pushing the buttons. Why do you even have that as a button? So get your journal, get deep down and dirty with yourself. Let yourself cry. Tomorrow is about the feeling, because we do a whole lot of numbing out, we have just taught ourselves that we're not supposed to feel pain, and we will do anything we can to block it. So that's tomorrow. But before you get to feeling the pain, you got to acknowledge. This is an emotional detox. So this is not your shout week. You can shout later. Trust me, you will be able to shout later because you do this work now. So you got to go to the places that you skipped over. You got to go to the places where you have been wounded, that you just said, forget about it. Sometimes it's the little things. Sometimes it's the big things. I want you to write about your areas of disappointment. There are a lot of us who you somehow have made up in your mind that you should be further along in your life than where you are right now. Like I said, high achieving women, sometimes we can be our worst enemy. So if you are doing that to yourself, you need to write about, where am I disappointed? Where do I feel disappointed with me? Feelings need to be expressed. Remember what I said, just because you don't express them doesn't make them go away. They got to have somewhere to go. So this is not for public view. This is for you to be honest. This is for you to be honest about, where are you hurt? Where do you wish things were different? Where are you holding regret? Where are you mad at yourself for missed opportunities? Where do you still feel insecure? Where? Talk about it in specific detail. That is the place where you begin. And it may be, I remember when I was in junior high and XYZ happened and I got kicked out of the girls group and I thought, they made me feel like this. The fact that you can still remember it. And for many of us, we got memories that we're like, yep, I remember it like it was yesterday. I am telling you that is the stuff that needs to be recalled. When you are in your downtime, and if you are not busy being busy and you're listening to your thoughts, you would be surprised at some of the stuff that comes up. You may have graduated from college 25 years ago, and you will bring up an incident. The mind will bring up an incident of, remember when you had that falling out with your girlfriend? And again, it's not just the incident in your mind. It's the feeling of how it made you feel. And the feeling will come and take you hostage, even though it happened 25 years later. So if that is happening to you on a regular basis, and you just may be trying to do the Jedi mind trick of, well, let me just do positive thinking and let me just think about something else. This is your invitation to say, no, why does that thought come up? Why am I replaying an argument that happened 15 years ago? You are replaying the pain. And today it stops. So let me tell you how it stops. Because I said I didn't say this to you all, but I said to myself, I was only going to kind of talk to y'all for 30 minutes because y'all know I can really go. Part of it, and like I said, there's a difference between seeing an issue and surrendering it. So the final piece of your work for today, your life work, your soul work for today is you must surrender. So what you do after you have written it all out, and these are just a few categories. But after you have written it all out, after you have cried it all out, after you have let yourself feel it, Marianne Williamson uses a phrase that says, dear God, because again, now we have to surrender it. It's not just about acknowledging it and bringing it up. Dear God, I release and I'll just start with fear. I release my fear, because now you know what that fear is. I have one of these insane fears that something bad is always going to happen, especially being over here in South Korea. My mind has been doing all kind of flips and craziness. And this is the stuff that gets in the way of me being who I'm supposed to be. I had to surrender my irrational fear, and it didn't start when I was in Korea, but always that fear of something's going to happen to my kids, stuff that makes you neurotic. Okay, I'm just keeping it real about myself. So whatever your thing is that keeps you up, that keeps you thinking irrational, foolishness, crazy thoughts that make you think that you must be half crazy, you better write it out and say, dear God, I release my fill in the blank. I release my irrational fear to you. I don't want to carry it anymore. Okay, I don't want to carry it anymore in my body, in my spirit, in my mind. Please take it away from me. It sounds very simplistic, but when was the last time you actually asked God to remove it? Most of us don't. We say, Lord, help me. Help me with this. Lord, help me. Just ask God to take it away from you. Can you please ask God, take it away from me. Take away my self-sabotage. Take away my heartbreak so I don't remember it anymore. Take away my pride where I won't even ask for help when I know I need help, that I refuse help when people come and they try to help me. Please take away the pride. Whatever the things are. And for some of us, our list may be longer. And this for me took a while because like I said, I was doing the ugly cry. I was doing the ugly cry of, gosh, I didn't realize all of that was there. I didn't realize I was still feeling guilty. I didn't realize I was still in punishment mode of myself for things that I did. So that's why I said, are you ready? Are you really ready to release it? If you are ready to release it, then you are ready to say the prayer. God, please take it away from me. I don't want to carry it anymore. And then here's the other caveat. Then expect the miracle. Okay? Don't expect the pain. Expect a miracle. Don't say this prayer if you really don't believe that things can be any different. And like I said, some of us, we are addicted to the pain. We are addicted to suffering. We are addicted to feeling the way we feel. We expect to be disappointed. I'm just, and so if that's what you're expecting, that's exactly what you're going to get. But I want you to expect a miracle. We forget who God is, and God is in you. So you have access. Like I said, you got access. All kinds of access. You are the key. You are the biggest asset. You have everything you need to get on the other side of this, but you have not been using it. Today, you use the keys. Surrender. Remember what I said. The level of your success will be dependent on the level of your surrender. The level of your success is dependent on the level of your surrender. You want to surrender a little bit, you still want to hold on to a little bit, you still want to try to fix and manipulate and control, then you're going to get little success. When you say, I surrender all, then all will be changed. And so that's what I am wanting you to expect from God. And what I know about God is that God will not disappoint. God will not disappoint. He will do exactly what he said he will do. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be open. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? That's what you have to hold on to. So I am challenging you. And again, that's the last step. You got to acknowledge what is weighing on your mind. Acknowledge the way it is making you feel. Admit and declare, I am ready to be free. I am so ready to be free. Don't do it as an exercise. Don't just do it because it's something nice to say. And I have learned doing this work that just because people say they're ready for the next level don't mean they are. So you have to really get honest with yourself and say, you know what? Am I ready to be great? I got something for that later on in the week because our connection, this connects to the weight in so many ways. There are a lot of ways to play small in life. Whole lot of ways to play small in life. And carrying extra weight is just one of them. That's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Are you ready to be great? Are you really, really ready to be great? So if you're ready, then you got to do your work. You got to release. You got to give it over to God. And this is my testimony. I remember, and Alicia, I know I've shared this with you, one of my sisters, that there was a time, I swear, because the beginning of my marriage was rough rocks. Oh my gosh. And I would literally wake up thinking about the argument we had yesterday. And if there was no argument on yesterday, I would think about the argument we had the day before. Like literally, that would be the thought in my mind. When I went to bed at night, I'd be thinking about what am I going to have to deal with tomorrow? What's going to be the drama tomorrow? This is what I'm saying to you. You got to pay attention to what your mind is doing. You cannot let your mind be the runaway train and run amok. And so I was doing that to the point that if that's what my mind was doing, what do you think I was expecting? And what do you think I was getting? Conflict, drama, all of it. So I was reliving my past every day. I was cutting and pasting yesterday into today, and it was repeating over and over and over again. What comes first, the chicken or the egg, the bad behavior or the bad expectation? What comes first? So that's what I was doing. But when I went through these exercises and I began to release old anger, old disappointment, I literally woke up the next morning and I did not have a negative thought at all. For once. And it was scary. That's why I said sometimes we go looking for the problem. I was like, oh, wow, I feel lighter. I feel peaceful. I'm not expecting there to be some kind of negative drama today. What's going on? And I started kind of thinking, and then God immediately convicted me and said, what are you looking for? You told me to take it. What are you looking for? You told me to take it. You want it back? And so that's why I said, you got to be serious about what you're wanting. Be serious about what you're asking for. Are you ready for what you're praying for? Are you ready to be free? Are you ready to be great? Then let's do this. Let's do this. Let's tap into the miracle. So I know y'all are tracking with me. I got your comments. Give me some hearts. If you're going to do your work tonight, you're going to get started. If not tonight, you better get into it tomorrow. Let me know what are you doing? What do you got to do? I don't want you to focus on anybody else. I want you to focus on you. This is you. This is your destiny that is, that we're waiting on. This is you. The verse that I put for those that signed up for the email, there's lots of verses that I like. And I was going to put, there's a verse in Joshua chapter 3 that talks about consecrate yourselves for tomorrow the Lord will do wonders among you. That's what I wanted to put. And God said, no, we are not going to talk about the Lord doing the miraculous and the Lord doing wonders. The verse that God gave me was Joshua 7:13, and it says consecrate yourself. So we're still in consecration mode. We're still in emotional detox mode. Consecrate yourselves in preparation for tomorrow. For the Lord says there are devoted things among you, and you cannot stand against your enemies until you remove them. What are the devoted things? There are some things that we've been holding on to like it's our baby, when really it is hurting us. There are some memories, some characteristics. There are some habits that we've been holding on to like it's a devoted thing, like it's an idol, like it's something of value. And what God is saying to you, before you can get to your place of promise, before you can get to the place that I showed you in 2018, when I revealed to you what I wanted to do in 2018, you must remove those things, because you will not be able to stand against your enemies. You cannot accelerate. You cannot move forward. You cannot advance without an opposing force coming for you. And you will not be able to handle the opposing force if you have not done your inner work. So this is for you. This is the ladder you must climb to get to the level that you are being called to. So you must do your work. Consecrate yourself, because tomorrow is coming. So that's my word for you. Some of you, I saw that you want to share it. Please share it. But I don't want you to be thinking about other sisters or folks that, yeah, you should have heard that word. You really needed that. Do your work. Like I said, everybody that say they ready, not ready. Because this is for big girls. This is not for people that, you still stuck in blame and, and it's everybody else's fault. This is for women who are ready to take 100% responsibility for their life and everything that happens in it. This is for you. So bless you. Thank you. I look forward to your feedback. Most of you that signed up, you have my email. So if you need me, I make myself available to you. I make myself available. If you get stuck in your process, if it's too painful, I'll be back here tomorrow because I'm going to talk about the feeling because we're not going to numb it. You don't need another glass of wine. You don't need another Haagen-Dazs. You don't need some more ice cream. You don't need to binge on Netflix. You need to feel it so we can move on. But that's tomorrow. So I'll see you all back here tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. And much love to you. Watch the replay if you're coming in on this late so you can get all your life work. Check your email if you signed up so you can actually do the work. And I will see you all tomorrow. God bless.